Hello there and welcome back to Hydroponics Daily, your go-to podcast for everything soilless cultivation. Today I was thinking about why plants like carnivorous plants and bonsai suffer in Coco Grow Media compared to, in carnivorous plants case, compared to peat. And I think I've come to a realization of one possible reason. They're both organic grow media. Cocoa is obviously inert. There's no mineral nutrition in it when it's harvested and processed. And so it's good for hydroponics where you just add the nutrition that you need. But carnivorous plants need very low nitrogen levels. Now, the problem with cocoa is because it contains a lot of sodium and salt, because of how it's harvested and where the coconut plants grow, they flush it with calcium nitrate to treat it. And this gets rid of the sodium and makes it perfect for growing very fast growing plants. There's a good supply of both calcium and nitrogen, which are two very important macronutrients. However, I think this is the reason why people are struggling to grow carnivorous plants in it and why people are not growing carnivorous plants hydroponically. And so I've thought of a potential solution to this. You could buy really cheap, what's considered rubbish cocoa from, say, Sri Lanka or Indonesia, or a disreputable supplier that you know doesn't buffer with calcium nitrate, the really high sodium raw cocoa, and then you could treat it with liquid gypsum. When we sell a liquid gypsum here at Utrema, and that contains calcium sulfate, so calcium and sulfur compounds, and that would be a way of flushing out the sodium without adding extra nitrogen. So for plants that you don't want growing fast or nitrogen is toxic to, so carnivorous plants, bonsai, and things like this, you could potentially flush with calcium sulfate. So you could produce carnivorous specific grow media. Now that's a potential business idea for somebody there in the carnivorous plants niche. Or the bonsai niche, you could do grow media containing cocoa, so pure cocoa for carnivorous plants, or a cocoa mix with mineral soil-based components, a sort of John Innes type peat-free alternative for bonsai there. So you could either sell that, or you could set up your business growing peat-free carnivorous plants, which is a big win because everyone knows that peat is bad for the environment for a number of different reasons, which I'm not going to go into here. And so you could produce peat-free hydroponic carnivorous plants or bonsai. So there you go. That's my idea. Buffering cocoa with calcium liquid gypsum rather than calcium nitrate. Let me know what you think. Is this a good idea? Is this a terrible idea? I don't think it is, though. That's been Hydroponics Daily for today. If you thought it was interesting, if that was a good hack, then please leave an Apple Podcast review. A written review would be outstanding. Help us share the podcast with the wider community. And if you're not on Apple, just make sure you click follow so that you like this podcast, and check out utrema.co.uk. That's Latin for wasabi, Utrema. And you'll find products like liquid gypsum and other fertilizers, biostimulants, and biopesticides unique to us. You can't find them anywhere else. And so always worth checking out. I know I say that every episode, but it is definitely worth checking out what we've got. Any questions at all related to growing any type of plant, send me a message, email, DM, and I'm more than happy to answer any challenges you've got. All right. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, goodbye.